I'm Laura. I'm a librarian here at Mercer County Library System in the Information Technology Department. Today I'm going to talk to you about a new database we recently added called PressReader. You can get to this by clicking on the link on our database page on our website, which is www.mcl.org, or go direct to the PressReader website, which is www.pressreader.com, or by using the PressReader app on your phone or tablet. PressReader contains over 7,000 publications in over 60 languages from about 120 different countries in the world. When you go to the website or log on to the app, you'll see that you do have to log on. Logging on involves typing in the barcode from the back of your library card and the PIN number. What you want to do when you see that login screen is you want to select library or group and look for Mercer County Library System and choose our instance, and then you can log in with that barcode and PIN number from your account. The PIN number should be the last 4 digits of your phone number. If you are unaware of what your PIN is or that number does not work that you think it is, you can contact us via the support form on our website, or you can call your local branch and ask for your PIN number or to reset your PIN number. Once you're logged on, you do have the option of creating an account, which would allow you to save different articles and publications to your favorite list. And up on the upper right hand side, you'll see next to the search and the menu, there is a login area. I'm currently logged in. It would say sign on if you're not logged in. To create an account, you just need to provide basically an email address and select a password. And you can give yourself your first name and last name, or in my case, I just gave an initial. So that's all you really need to get started. On the left-hand side, there are some menus, including the ability to search by country. As I mentioned, there are 120 countries of origin for the publications. There are also over 60 languages. So if you click on languages, you'll see those languages listed as well. And there's also categories. And categories are general categories such as sports, art, entertainment, news, and health and fitness, for example. I'm going to point out news is down here because, as I mentioned, it has newspapers and magazines in this database. So most of the news is going to be collected in the news area. There will be magazines in there as well. Another way to search, I mentioned that if you create an account, you will be able to pin certain publications to the main page. So I have pinned the Los Angeles Times here. So this is a list of my publications. There's also the featured area just to the right of that. Underneath of the featured item for the day, you can also click on newspapers to get a list of just the newspapers, or magazines to get a list of just the magazines. Because we're a library in the United States, we also default to publications that originate in the U.S. as one of our pre-defined featured areas. You can also scroll to the right and see more suggested featured top titles. There's also the top magazines and the top free publications and newspapers as well. So I'm going to just click on newspapers so you can get an idea of what kinds of newspapers there are. There are, like I said, thousands of items in here, so we're not going to obviously look at the full list. For local readers, we do have the New York Post, the New York Daily News, the Philadelphia Daily News, the Philadelphia Inquirer is in here, but we also have things in here such as the Chicago Tribune. I think I saw the London Times somewhere around here. The Washington Times is here. So you'll see there are recognizable newspapers. And like I said, there's over 7,000 total titles. So there's probably something you're all going to be interested in. I'm going to click on this meatball menu up here. I'm sorry, hamburger menu, all the way to the left. Publications is the default page. So I'm going to go back to publications. The other thing in here, you'll see this says nickname and home feed. That is where my personalized stuff is going to be. We'll take a look at that in a minute. First, I want to show you how to get started in reading a magazine or newspaper. So I'm just going to pick today's LA Times. And you'll see we have LA Times for today up here. On the left, you have the current issue, you have latest issue, and you have the Discover News. The latest issues, what we have in the archive is dependent on the publication. Some things you may only have a couple of weeks of back issues, others you may see months of them. I clicked on one title earlier, just testing, and found it went back to 2016. So it all depends on what the producer of the publication feels is appropriate for the archives for this particular platform. I mentioned you could do my publications and keep a list of things that you want to go back and look at, or titles that you want to consult every time you come onto the service. The way you do that is underneath of the current issue, you can go ahead and click the heart and it will add it to my publications list. You also have the option to listen to the newspaper, so you can have somebody read the newspaper to you, and so that's an option as well. I'm going to go ahead and click Read Now. And if you're reading this on a tablet or a device, one thing to be aware that you can just kind of click through or tap, and the device will, uh, the pages will flip the way it would on an e-reader. If you're on a computer and you're looking in a web browser, you can just click, hold it, and oops, and drag left or right to flip through the pages. In order to see an article, you can just click on the article and it will open up in a larger font for you. The other thing you can do is you can right click or left click and hold. When you right click or left click and hold, you can see you can change this to the text view option, which is more like a reader view option that you might be used to seeing in the some of the reader panes in some of the websites, or web browsers that give that option. I'm going to go back to page view. You can add a comment. Oops. If I right click, you can add a comment to that. You can also save individual articles to your collection. So I could go ahead and click that. When you do, you can either create a new collection or you can use the default, which is in there, which is to read later. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Another option you have is you can listen to just this specific article. You can also share. And sharing, even though somebody you are sharing with may not have a subscription to PressReader or have access to it through their library, they're still going to be able to read the article if you share it with them. So you can simply copy a link and send that in an email, or you can use an email application and do that. You could also share to Facebook, Twitter, or you can click to one of the note-taking services as well. The other option you have is you can copy this, and then if you wanted to, you come up with the item to copy to the clipboard, so you can select all and right click and copy the way you would anything else in your browser, and then you could paste that if you needed to into a document, a Word document, or whatever you were doing. And the last option there is to print, so you can indeed print individual articles. Okay, so that's how you navigate within a publication. The other thing too is on the left you'll see that we do have a calendar, so you could go back if you wanted to see the first, and I wanted to see the issue from the 1st of December. I can do that. Up here on the left, I can go back to the news feed, and that will bring me back to my news feed, or I'm sorry, the default news feed for the system. The other thing I could have opted to do was just go back to publications, and that would have gotten me to the main page. Underneath of the hamburger menu up on the upper left, we did see the home feed. This is the news feed that is produced, that we just had seen, but it's produced by PressReader. And basically, it's going to give you the top stories of the day. It's almost the same as what we saw with the publications, where it's giving you selected items from different magazines and newspapers. So it's pretty much an idea of what's trending in the world. And then they have it by category as well. So as you scroll through, you'll see the top news, then politics. You'll eventually get to entertainment, sports, business, whatnot. Okay. Also in the hamburger menu is the hotspot map, which shows you where you're viewing from. These hotspots also will give you a list of different places where you can log into PressReader. You don't have to be near one of those hotspots in order to use the service if you've got your library card. But if you are traveling and you've forgotten your library card and you want to log on and you see that certain areas have PressReader, especially things like hotels and everything, like this one is the Holiday Inn Express, you could always log on to it from there as well. Okay, the other things in the hamburger menu, you can change your settings. Whether you want to use hotspots or not, you can turn those on or off. And up here where it says nickname, when you create an account, it gives you a default nickname, and that is basically your area. So I had previously said that you could add publications and clip newspaper articles and add them to your area. You can use the settings button, just so you know, and change this to say something else if you'd like to, to change it from whatever the default nickname is. I'll show you that in a minute. But over here on the right is the list of the articles I've clipped. I can also look at those in my collections. Here on the left, I have my Read Later collection, and I can see those are the 2 articles I just clipped. I keep clicking back to the news feed instead of hitting the back button. So as I mentioned, on my account area where I'm looking at nickname, I can hit the settings icon, the gear, and you can change the information here by clicking on the edit buttons. So if you'd like to add it to your Facebook feed, if you'd like to link it, you can do that as well. You'll notice this says it's a channel. You can actually have a public channel that you could share with other people, or that people could see what you're clipping. So by default, channels are private, but you can uncheck this box and make yourself publicly visible. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and here's my personalized feed again with my clipped collections. I'm just going to go back to the publication area. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that is I just want to clip on something here. I'll clip on Newsweek, and I'm going to click Read Now. And I want to show you the translation surface. This is going to be up in the upper right-hand corner in what's known as the meatball menu. It's these 3 dots. And when I click on that, I can click Translate, and then I have the option to translate into any language that I'd like to. So I'm going to translate this into Italian. And you'll see it does the translation in the background. Now I'm getting that issue of Newsweek in Italian. And you can go ahead and just change that by clicking on the meatball menu again, and either changing the language, you can go back to the original language and get it in English. The other things you can do here, again, you can listen. It's another option or another area to get to the listen, or you can add this particular publication to your list. Another thing you can do is if you're on a device and you're planning on taking a plane or train ride and you'd like to be able to use this offline, you can download this issue to that device. And also you can export to certain types of e-readers. You also have some font settings that you can do. I'm just curious because I see this thing that says festive. Oh, turn on festive and I get little snowflakes coming down. Okay, so just a little odd whistle and bell in there. And there's also the accessibility mode where you can change, again, things like the, not necessarily the font size, that would be in fonts, but you can change things such as the dark background to the light background and whatnot. So basically that's how you use PressReader. You can, as I said, save things, you can share things, you have an excellent translation service, and you can also print items, and you can also, like I said, save items to your personal account so that when you log on, you can go back and read items that you've clipped or go back to magazines that you're really interested in reading. One note about saving things, it's always a good idea to create the free account and save issues or specific articles to your account, because much like Netflix, things will come in and out. As I mentioned earlier, it's based on what the publication itself sets as what can be in the archive. So if you do clip something or save an issue, be aware that will not disappear if it's in your clipping list. So you can go ahead and save that and refer to it again, even if that issue has gone out of the archive. Okay, so that's how to use PressReader. We hope you enjoy it and come back frequently and find some fun things to read. Thank you.